Hello and welcome to Bust or Trust, a kids' mystery podcast. I'm Tiernan.
And I'm Athena. Bust or Trust is the podcast where we unravel the world's greatest mysteries with help from you, our chief detectives.
We present all the best evidence and then ask you to decide. Which team are you on?
Are you a myth buster like me?
Or are you a myth truster like me? We look into all sorts of strange stories from around the world. No mystery is too big for us. Like, why are jellyfish called jellyfish when they're not jelly versions of fish? Should they be called jelly octopuses or jelly mushrooms with long tentacles?
Some jellyfish can sting. If you had to warn your friends one was coming, it would take a long time to shout out, "Look out for the jelly mushrooms with long tentacles!"
Oh no, there's a jelly mushroom with long tentacles coming, oh no! Anyway, we tell you at the end of the show just how to get in touch so you can let us know if you're on Team Buster or the best one, Team Truster.
So, chief detectives, get ready to take notes and start putting together your case while we have a quick word with the grown-ups. Well, hello there, grown-ups. You already know that we depend on your support to keep making Bust or Trust, but we have some exciting news for supporters.
If you subscribe and support Bust or Trust on Patreon or Apple Podcasts, you'll get access to weekly subscriber bonus episodes with extra evidence, ad-free listening, and early access to all our episodes.
But there's more. You will now get a weekly newsletter full of fun facts, book recommendations, fun new words, and a monthly colouring poster to print at home featuring some of the weird and most wildest mysteries we've investigated.
To support the show and get access to all these great goodies, just click subscribe in Apple Podcasts, subscribe to Patreon via Spotify, or visit patreon.com/Bust or Trust podcast. For more information, visit our website at bustortrust.com.
The case.
Tiernan, can I ask you a question?
Sure!
Why are you drilling the walls?
You should be asking, why has it taken me so long to use my trusty power drill? We've never checked if there are any skeletons hidden behind the walls. I'm going to drill a few holes to take a peek. Hey!
I'm pulling the plug on this. You can't drill holes all over Bust or Trust HQ because you think skeletons are behind the walls. Where's your evidence?
Actually, the evidence is in the mystery we're going to look at today.
Is it the mystery of why some people mysteriously lose their power drills because they can't be trusted with them?
No, it's the mystery of the ghosts of Drury Lane Theatre. The Drury Lane Theatre is a really old theatre in London, and some people think it's haunted by ghosts.
And some people think it isn't. But as always, that's up to our chief detectives to decide. Why don't you tell them a bit more about the theatre whilst I find somewhere to hide this drill?
Sure, and to be honest, it might be easier to use an X-ray machine to look through the walls, but before I try to get my hands on one of those, more on the Drury Lane Theatre. Picture London in around 1660. Horses and carts, cobblers mending shoes, people selling turnips in the market, and a brand new theatre opening on Drury Lane. There have been various theatres at this address in Drury Lane for centuries. It's one of the oldest and most famous theatres in the city. In fact, it's the oldest theatre in London that's still in use today. The current building was completed in 1812.
That means this version of the theatre is over 200 years old. If I was going to look for a ghost, which I wouldn't because ghosts aren't real, that sounds like just the place I would go to look.
Well, actually, that takes me nicely into our first piece of evidence, because...
First piece of evidence.
The Drury Lane Theatre is an excellent place to look for ghosts, whether you believe in them or not. Ghosts are known for lurking around places where bad things have happened. Our first piece of evidence is, so many terrible things have happened at this theatre, ghosts have to be paying it a visit every now and again.
No play can be so bad that even ghosts come to boo it.
Not bad performances, other bad things.
Oh, good, because ghosts are definitely worse than a 1-star review. What kind of bad things do you mean?
On the 15th of May in 1800, the King of England, King George III, almost died when a man called James Hadfield tried to assassinate him while watching a play. Hadfield fired a pistol twice, and people say the shots just missed the king. The play carried on, and apparently the king wasn't very bothered about it at all.
The show must go on. But that doesn't sound very spooky.
It does get spookier. The theatre has burned down 3 times. After the second fire in 1794, they tried to make the theatre safer and put up a fireproof curtain. I think they should have made the whole place fireproof and not just the curtains, because it burned down again 15 years later.
But that's not spooky. Buildings in London used to be made from wood, and there was no electricity, so they used candles for light and fires to keep warm. This means fires were really common.
Athena, it gets spookier. In 1848, whilst removing a wall in the theatre, someone found the bones of a man who'd clearly been stabbed with a knife. That's so sad and also very scary. He's now called the Man in Grey, and it's his ghost that's said to haunt the theatre. And that's why we need to check our walls too.
But lots of tragic things have happened in lots of old buildings. Why don't we see ghosts in all of those buildings?
Maybe ghosts only come back to places where they'll be entertained, like a theatre. There's no point haunting somewhere boring like an office, for example.
True, there's nothing entertaining about a photocopier, but don't buy that X-ray machine just yet. Let's hear the second piece of evidence.
Second piece of evidence.
The second piece of evidence is people have actually seen ghosts. There have been many sightings of the Man in Grey. People who've seen him describe him as dressed like a very smart gentleman from the 18th century with white hair wearing a tricorn hat. That's a hat that looks a bit like a triangle. He's got either a dress jacket and cloak or cape, riding boots and has a sword. Sounds like a ghost to me. He's been seen so often over the years, people who work in the theatre actually look forward to his appearances and welcome his ghostly presence.
They welcome him? How do you welcome a ghost?
Well, maybe at Christmas they put on a phantom mime. Get it? Like pantomime, but it's a phantom?
I get it, very funny. Did you use a ghostwriter for that one? Why don't you tell us more about the people who have seen the Man in Grey?
Oh, certainly. Theatre historian W.J. McQueen Pope saw the Man in Grey and is very specific about where. He said the ghost had a regular route as it wandered round the theatre, starting at the end of the fourth row in the upper circle, that's what balconies are sometimes called in theatres, and then it strolls to a wall near the royal box. That happens to be where his remains were originally found. Coincidence? I think not.
That is a bit chilling, a ghost that heads towards its original resting place. But did you know that W.J. McQueen Pope was also a publicist for Drury Lane Theatre? A publicist is someone who talks to the public and media about a place or thing, so it becomes popular or well visited. It was his job to tell everyone about the theatre so they could sell lots of tickets to their shows. Maybe he made up the story for attention. His evidence isn't reliable because he had a good reason to make up a ghost story.
Maybe, though a ghost would put me off going somewhere. Plus, McQueen Pope wasn't the only person to see a ghost. So many ghosts have been seen there. The writer Thomas Ogden calls the Drury Lane Theatre one of the most haunted theatres in the world. 2 actors are said to be hanging around the place over 200 years after they died. In 1735, Charles Macklin killed an actor called Thomas Hallam in an argument over a wig. It must have been a very nice wig. Macklin never went to jail for the murder and lived to be over 100 years old. But for some reason, Macklin's ghost returned after he died and is known to appear backstage. If you see that ghost, give him your wig. Pantomime star Dan Leno was famous for playing Mother Goose at the theatre in the 1800s. Actors have reported seeing him floating around the dressing rooms.
Oh no, they haven't.
Oh yes, they have. Also, Joseph Grimaldi was a famous clown who performed at the theatre. People say that he often comes back as a friendly ghost. He's appeared in dressing rooms to help nervous actors feel better before they perform. I'm not sure a ghost would make me feel less nervous.
Me neither. These are all very good stories, but maybe calling a place the most haunted theatre in the world makes people believe they are seeing ghosts. Really, they are just imagining it. People can be influenced by suggestions. Because they're told they're in a haunted place, they're actually more likely to believe ghosts are responsible for things with a perfectly reasonable explanation. That's because when people say things a lot to us, our brains sometimes start to think those things are true, even if they aren't. It's called the power of suggestion. So, instead of ghosts being the culprits, what people experienced was maybe a breeze or heard a door slam shut, all perfectly normal noises. It's important to think for ourselves and not just believe everything we hear.
Aha, well, wait until you listen to piece of evidence number 3.
Third piece of evidence.
The third piece of evidence is, over the many decades that the theatre has been in use, there have been lots and lots of unexplained phenomena experienced by people in the building, many of which are not perfectly normal. Writer and actor Nigel Planer investigated the ghost sightings with an expert in the paranormal, Roger Clark, in 2013. He spoke to Mark Fox, who works for the theatre, who said he's heard his name called out in the night. He's even heard strange crashing noises against the door of where he works that even he can't explain. The important thing here is that Mark Fox describes himself as a cynic. That's someone who doesn't trust very easily and doesn't normally believe in paranormal things. But he admits there's no explanation for his experiences other than ghosts in the theatre. Planer also spoke to people who said things regularly went missing from the changing rooms, like wigs and combs. Also, oddly, fake moustaches have been found stuck to mirrors, but no one can work out who put them there. Do you remember pantomime star Dan Leno? He used to use a lavender fragrance and had lavender in his dressing room. It was his favourite scent. People today still report smelling lavender backstage, even though no lavender perfume or air freshener has been used.
Sounds like the work of a practical joker to me. Someone who knew Dan Leno liked the smell of lavender could have come in early and sprayed some lavender air freshener around the place.
But practical jokers are supposed to be funny. What's funny about hiding a wig and the smell of lavender? And get this, in 2014, actor Clive Carter had a strange experience at night time in the theatre. He was in his dressing room when another actor came in. The TV was on in the corner of the room, and suddenly the channel changed all by itself, scaring them both. They changed the channel back and had a little chat about what could have caused it. Maybe it was an electrical fault, or the signal went a bit funny. But as soon as they mentioned it might be a ghost, the TV channel changed again. You see, the ghost heard them and changed the channel again.
Wow, these are all signs that normally point to Ghost Town, but you still need to rule out all the normal things that might have caused all these phenomena before you can say for sure it was a ghost. Mark Fox's parents might have been calling him because his dinner was ready. But seriously, people call for other people when they are at work all the time. Anyone could have said Mark's name. And maybe the channel on the dressing room TV didn't change. It can look like a channel has changed if there's an emergency news report. Or someone could have used the remote control from outside the room. Did you know some remote controls can work through windows and walls? Or maybe the actors were so deep in conversation they didn't realise their TV show had been interrupted by adverts.
Ha! Even you know that's a silly explanation for that. But you know what's even sillier?
What?
Why do only some of the old actors come back to haunt the theatre? Do you think it's because they have to audition and not all of them get the part? I'm an actor here for the audition to haunt the royal box of this very old theatre.
You are well on your way to getting the job. You managed to create a knocking on door sound even though you are a ghostly presence with nobody. Bravo!
Well, thank you.
No footsteps though. We simply must have ghosts that can do footsteps. Next!
Oh.
Finally! Footsteps! Come on in, introduce yourself!
I did a clown act in this theatre in 1793, and I'm here to audition for the role of Ghost in Dressing Room number 3.
Wonderful! Let's hear what you've got prepared.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
No. I feel it, but I just don't believe it. Thank you, we'll be in touch. Next! Don't take another step. Don't say one word. You can knock. You can make the sound of footsteps. And you can jangle things. Terrifying. Plus, you look very mean. You've got the part.
Mean? My mum prefers my face to be described as persuasive. I'm the caretaker, and I'm jangling my keys because it's 6 p.m. Time to lock up.
But we haven't found a new ghost actor to play our new ghost yet.
I think you have.
Who or what was that?
Just me again, the ghost you felt but didn't believe. I was pretty believable then, wasn't I?
You were. You've got the part.
Sorry, I've changed my mind. Going to haunt a cinema instead. Think I'd prefer to spend the afterlife watching action movies.
Oh, the cinema, taking our audiences and our hauntings.
You'd think ghosts would prefer to haunt restaurants.
Why is that?
Because everyone knows ghosts love a good buffet.
You're haunting this podcast with your jokes. Time to let the Chief Detective decide whether Drury Lane Theatre is haunted or not. Let's recap the evidence.
Evidence recap.
The first piece of evidence is that the site of Drury Lane Theatre is really, really old. It's seen a lot of tragedy, including fire and murder. Ghosts are known to visit very old places that have a history of sad events in the past.
But lots of places have a history of sad events, and not all of them are haunted.
The second piece of evidence is that many, many people have seen ghosts. They consistently describe the man in grey in the same way, and others have seen different ghosts too.
But the theatre is known as the most haunted theatre in the world. This means people are more likely to believe they have seen a ghost when they are there. It's called the power of suggestion. Most of the things they have seen, felt or heard could have a normal explanation.
The third piece of evidence is things have happened which have no normal explanation. Things have gone missing, and one pair of actors witnessed channels changing on the TV when there was no remote and no one else around to change it. The lavender smell of a previous ghost has no explanation either.
But you still have to rule out every possible rational explanation for each spooky thing. Someone could have changed a TV channel in a dressing room from outside the room. And we don't know if the theatre was empty when Mark Fox heard his name. So it really could have been someone calling his name. Plus, lavender is a common smell that could have been created by anyone who wanted to play a prank.
So now we're handing it over to you, Chief Detectives.
What do you think? Are you a Ghost of Drury Lane Theatre myth buster?
Or a Ghosts of Drury Lane Theatre myth truster? Get in touch and let us know your thoughts. And most importantly, which side you're on. I'm pretty sure the Chief Detectives are going to go ghost-tastic with this one.
No way. I think Team Truster is going to get ghosted. Buster all the way. Send us your voice notes with an explanation of why you're a myth truster or myth buster when it comes to the Ghosts of Drury Lane Theatre.
All you have to do is ask your grown-ups to help you email us your voice notes or thoughts to hello@bustortrust.com.
Tell us your name, age, what you think all the evidence means, and please make sure your grown-ups give us permission to use your voice notes or emails in our next episode.
You can also send us a question on Spotify Q&A, but please get permission from your grown-ups and don't include any personal details so we can publish them safely. We won't always be able to use all of them.
But we do love to hear them, and here are some thoughts from you lot, our Chief Detectives, on the last few episodes.
Hi, I'm Henry, and I'm 5, and I'm a truth truster for the big grey man of Ben Dewey, because he might be related to Bigfoot, and instead of brown, he's grey, and I think you should do an investigation about zombies.
Oh, wow, Henry. Welcome to Team Truster. I love your opinion. Maybe everyone that's got big in their name is related somehow. Big Grey Man, Bigfoot, Big Ben, they could all be siblings. I think we should definitely look into this, and I would like to look into zombies, definitely. But my worry is me and Athena are so clever that we'll get hunted by them because they'll just want our brains. And Henry, do you only want us to look into zombies because they only go for brains? And you clearly have a lot of them.
And Henry, I like the idea of Bigfoot if he existed, which he doesn't. But I like the idea that he's maybe got a brother, and I like the idea that maybe they might have kids. Then it'd be Uncle Bigfoot.
Oh, that's
Bigfoot
nice.
would make a great uncle if he existed, but I don't think he does.
We have had some brilliant comments from you on our Spotify Q&A, and here are a few. Olivia has written to us about the case of the lost city of Atlantis. She says, trust. I'm a truster because islands have sunk before.
Nevin has left a comment after listening to the episode on the Wendigo. Nevin's a truster. So many sightings, descriptions, which all connect, and so many stories are bound to be true.
Amateur34 got in touch about our episode on the Wendigo saying, bust! I don't think that the Wendigo is real because the priest found that the man ate his family. Yeah, that is a good point, even though it was a disgusting story.
Yeah, I don't think I want any of those things to be true, to be honest. Mackenzie listened to our episode on the Chupacabra and is a buster. I think the Chupacabra is a coyote. I'm a buster.
Anastasia wrote to us about our episode on the Cahokia Light, saying, so good, I love Bust or Trust. Turnham is my favourite, but I really like Athena. Well, I like Athena too, and I also like Turnham. Big shout out to Turnham.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I want to meet this Turnham guy. He sounds really cool. What fantastic comments. I really love listening to them every week.
Oh, me too. They are so great. And if you enjoyed the show, please follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or Amazon Music or wherever you listen to your podcasts for more great episodes. We love to hear what you think, so please do rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It helps more detectives find, bust or trust. And of course, we'll read some of your comments on the show.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time for some more Bust or Trust. Oh, you're not still searching for an X-ray machine to look for bones in our walls, are you? I don't think you can just buy them from the internet, and they normally only get used in hospitals.
Nope. I actually found a better way to look for old bones.
Really? What's that?
A dog! Let's get a Bust or Trust pet, and they can sniff around for bones too. Dogs love bones.
No internet for you until you promise to stop looking for things that don't exist in the walls of our HQ.
Okay, I will stop looking. Athena,
Yes, Tiernan.
can I look under the floorboards instead?
Tiernan.